speaker is Yogesh. He's going to tell us about specific contracts, opportunities for software and data. Yogesh?
Yeah, just sharing my presentation. Are you able to hear me and see my screen?
Yes, both.
Okay,
Go ahead.
great. So I'll be quick because many of the things that I am going to mention have already been covered by Vivek or Yashwan. So I don't have to spend too much time on those things. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about what are our specific plans for our largest contribution to the software, which is the observatory management and control software, which I spoke about extensively in the morning. India is going to lead this effort. We are contributing about 50% of the effort. And our effort will be supplemented by teams from the UK, South Africa, Italy, and Portugal. And we are proposing to have a total of 8 development teams and 1 program team within this OMC. And all of these will be part of the same agile release train, which is the observatory management and control release train. Uh, SAFE will be used throughout. You heard about SAFE from Snehal and Vivek. Specifically, one is looking at the large solution SAFE configuration. Uh, the SAFE recommends that every development team have between typically 5 and 7 developers. You don't break this rule unless there's strong reasons to do so. And in addition to the developers, every team has what is known as a product owner who sort of represents what the client wants. So the product owner ideally would be an astronomer or a scientist who sort of certifies that whatever the team has developed is meeting up with the science requirements. For the day-to-day management, you have a Scrum Master who's like a project manager kind of person who ensures that the processes behind SAFE are followed scrupulously. There are certain protocols that SAFE expects, and these are sort of implemented by the Scrum Master. There is going to be a sort of higher level team, which is called the program team, which is going to run the whole train. And this will include somebody known as a release train engineer who's responsible for the entire train. There will also be product managers and a few other people from the SK office who are going to be involved with the overall running of the OMC software train. We are attempting to make sure that all teams are co-located, at least time zone co-located if they can't be physically co-located. The OMC development plan is expected to be implemented over about 27 PI cycles, program increment cycles of 3 months each. So that would be 81 months in total, just short of 7 years. And the whole construction train is supposed to start rolling sometime in mid 2021. One must remember that in this SAFE approach, again, this is a slide that is taken from one of the slides from the Scaled Agile Incorporated. What it tells here is that the process of development is not going to be the waterfall model where you sort of define your requirements and then some developers go off and then they produce some software that meets your requirements. This is going to be a process of continuous exploration, which means the requirements themselves will get refined and developed and changed over time. The process of development will also be continuous. The process of testing will also be continuous. And the goal is to have working software, perhaps not completely feature rich as the final product will be, but rudimentary minimum viable product, as they call it, some basic software that runs. And that will be continuously integrated. So as the teams develop the software, they will be continuously checking it out. There will be unit tests that will be run. They will be testing it continuously. And in fact, they will be releasing the software continuously. So there won't be these discrete releases of software. The software is going to be released and deployed on simulators and eventually on the telescope as on a continuous basis. What is the work breakdown? This captures the major areas of the work and which country is contributing how much. So that the first column is some work breakdown structure code. The second column tells you what is happening. So the OMC program support are these people, the release train engineer and other members of the team who are running all the development teams at once. Then there are various breakups of the OMC software in the work breakdown, each of which will be implemented by a different country. As you can see, all our partner countries, South Africa, UK, Italy, Portugal, and UK are represented. India has its biggest share in on the last line, OMC TMC software package development. That's our single largest contribution. We also have fairly large contributions in the OSO. OSO stands for it's the package that talks about it does all those user interfaces and things like that. This is the continuation of that same list. And again, this tells us what each country is doing. Now, this is all of this, these numbers are part of a plan. So every country or every leader of every consortium that is going to participate in construction was asked to submit a plan of who is going to do what. Here I should caution that since we are contracting a workforce rather than contracting work, these areas of work are broadly indicative. It is not necessary. For example, if India is doing MCCS software development, which UK is leading and India is supporting, it is not necessary that we do the work in the exact same proportion, or we don't let a third country come in on this work. So if it is found that a development team which is working on something else may be able to contribute something to MCCS software development, then in the SAFE framework that is allowed and even encouraged. So very roughly, we will contribute, taken together, about 50% of the effort. And of the remaining, the second largest contributor is going to be the UK, which is contributing about 24%. And then the rest are contributing the remaining quarter. So what are we going to provide? India is going to provide 4 SAFE teams, okay, and a few members of the program team, okay, which I already mentioned. We are going to work under a time and materials type contract. So again, a well-qualified technical workforce is the main deliverable. We are not going to go to the industry and say, build us this software exactly. Okay, we are not in a position to give them a blueprint. What we are going to say is that we want to build something like this. We want people with the following qualifications to be a part of the team, and you provide us with those people. And we will, of course, negotiate the contract and so on. As was already mentioned by Vivek, the SK Observatory is looking for companies to commit the same individuals over longer periods of time. So when we ask for people with specific skills, we may, if they do well, we are going to request that they be continued on the project, because it takes a long time for new members to become productive. What will the academic research institutions have to do? They will have to provide the domain expertise in radio astronomy, and they will have to provide the training to the developers who will primarily come from industry. in radio astronomy science, engineering techniques, and so on. They will, of course, have the overall responsibility of management and coordination. The SKO staff will be continuously and directly involved in the work with the development teams. So again, it's not a hands-off attitude. The SKO office is hiring people just to run the whole software development program, and therefore they will be closely involved on a continuous basis. The implication of this is that the SKO will undertake the risk associated with failures or delays and so on, and that the management of risk will be largely their responsibility. How are we proposing to hire the software workforce? We have not finalized this, but one possibility for software which has worked well for us in the past is to put out, this was already mentioned by Yashwant as one of the options. So we put out an expression of interest. The aim is to identify technically qualified companies for the various areas of work through an open and transparent process. And of course, when we are looking for companies, we are going to put in requirements like previous experience in working on large scientific projects, number of experienced Tango developers, size of the company, their revenue, etc., will all play a role in the shortlisting. And once these companies are shortlisted, in the past, we've followed a process by which we award contracts through a limited tender process. It was already mentioned again by Vivek and Yashwant that there will be a longer term contract which resembles the NEC4 framework contract, and there will be accompanying short term, possibly 1 PI long, 3 months long contracts which resemble or are identical to the NEC4 professional short services contract, which was already mentioned by Vivek as the preferred option from the office. The overall process that we will follow should be similar but not identical to the 2013 EOI process for the detailed design phase that we had carried out. What's the timeline? We not sure, primarily because we are currently awaiting clearances and budget approvals from the government. We have put in a proposal. As soon as we get the requisite approvals, we can proceed to initiate the EOI. From our previous experience, we feel that the EOI process will take about 3 to 4 months, and that is consistent with what the office expects the process to take. Meanwhile, as I had already mentioned in the morning, we are working with the existing teams, which are working with us through the bridging phase. The bridging phase will continue for some more time, for a few more months, and so our participation in bridging will continue at the existing levels. As soon as the EOI process is completed, then we will be able to move forward expeditiously and award work contracts for contracting the development teams. Okay, I think I've said what I wanted, and I welcome your comments and questions.
Thank you, Yogesh. Questions for Yogesh? Kiran Mehta, can a software developer enter into the 3-month contract as an individual?
We have not yet thought this through, so I don't have a definitive answer to that. There will be some scope for hiring contractors with very special skills. Okay, and we've done that sort of thing also in the past. That what we are doing here is contracting teams, but if there is some very highly specialized skill which we need and which we don't have, then we will go out and seek that skill. So if as an individual software developer that person meets the requirement, then yes, but not as a long-term thing, because it becomes very hard for us to manage many individual contracts. We would prefer to have one longer term framework contract, and then have a series of PSSCs just to keep moving things forward.
Okay. Any other question? I don't see any hands. Anything more from YouTube?
No, not at this point. Nothing. No other questions.
Okay.